Highway 1 in southeastern Louisiana hugs Bayou Lafourche, where for generations Cajun families have made their living from its slow-moving fresh water. But as the land disappears before their eyes, the result of coastal erosion, a centuries-old culture struggles to stay afloat. This is Susan Saulney, reporter for the New York Times. In 1941, writers for the Louisiana WPA Travel Guide described this area an hour south of New Orleans as a thriving strip of boom towns, made vibrant by the fish and shrimping industry. I spent a week along the bayou, driving south from Golden Meadow to Grand Isle on the Gulf of Mexico, looking for signs about how the landscape and culture had fared since the guide's publication. On my first day, I met Elphage Brunet and his family. Almost every day, his wife, Vina May, makes lunch with fish Elphage and their sons catch in the bayou, or the Gulf.
That was caught Monday.
Yeah, this fish here was caught Monday.
On this day, the kids and grandkids joined them for fried trout and courtillon.
You might notice we lick our fingers too.
The Brunets are typical Cajuns, as is obvious from their dialect, cuisine, and close-knit family. They've lived here all their lives.
I was maybe 8, 9, 10 years old. We'd swim in the bayou.
Boats traveling south were a familiar sight.
They would haul food.
They threw apples and oranges at the kids along the bank, you see.
The WPA guide describes bustling activity on the bayou at this time. Houseboats lined the banks and shrimpers and fishermen shouted to each other in Cajun French. But the bayou is quieter now, and there are other differences, as saltwater from the Gulf of Mexico pushes into the marshes and the bayou.
From the highway to the bayou,
Oh, yeah.
there was much more land.
Sure.
And now the land is...
Through the years.
Yeah.
The impact of coastal erosion in the area is unmistakable, as the coast is disappearing at a rate that fluctuates but is estimated to be between 12 to more than 20 square miles a year. The Brunet's 23-year-old granddaughter Francine sees the effects.
Well, when my grandfather was young, they'd have a little walkway from the roadside out, 40, 50 yards into the marsh where they had their camp out on pilings. And as far as you can see now, there's nothing anymore.
Marshes, noted for their wild animal life and exotic flowers in the WPA guide, have been washed away and replaced by open water. So-called ghost trees are everywhere, fragments of the tremendous oaks that grew here years ago but drowned. The ecological changes have impacted the shrimping and fishing industries. I spoke with a shrimper, Ricky Polke, about some of his troubles.
Shrimp don't have the place to hole up in the marshes like they used to, and we had longer seasons where now, with our marshlands deteriorating, shrimp size has been real small this year and is remaining small all year. Where shrimpers spend most of their money, in this shop.
Sewing fishing nets by hand, the old Cajuns talked about the olden days and the way things used to be.
It was forbidden to talk French in school ground because they were trying to teach us English. And if you get caught talking French, you get punished. So that's how we learn. The little we learn, then you go to school too much.
Tradition also survives through religion. The WPA guide described a vibrant Catholic legacy that remains visible along the bayou. The guide noted that people built shrines and prayed for protection from floods. But today, saltwater intrusion is a greater concern. Farther south in Leeville, population roughly 60, the water has not even spared the dead. Watery tombs are nearly unrecognizable. But the vista changes in Port Fouchon, a town that didn't even exist at the time of the WPA guide. Its docks, a launching point for tankers bringing in oil from deep water drilling in the Gulf, are one sign of economic growth. And in gated communities, sport fishermen prepare dinner.
Is snapper throats. This is a little bit of a different delicacy. We don't waste anything.
Last stop on the WPA route is Grand Isle, a Gulf beach town alive with the colorful history of its pirate forefathers. The Brunays brought Francine there as a child, and she hopes to bring her grandchildren. But the only road to Grand Isle, like the rest of the land, is sinking.
It's going to be impossible to pass to go to Grand Isle, and that's whenever there's going to be nothing left. There's only so many rocks.